Welcome back to Module 4. This is our final video where we're going to talk about going live with your website. So the first thing you want to do before you go live is we want to just test everything. So we're going to go out to our website, and right now we're logged in as admin, and that's okay. I'm just gonna keep that as is for right now, and we're just going to go through everything and make sure everything looks the way we want it to. So the first thing that I want to point out is and make sure it looks and functions the way we want it to. And then once we've gone through it as an admin, we're going to log out and look at what it would look like for a regular user on the internet. So first of all, we just want to make sure every link works. So this one, we see it comes right back to home. Let's make sure the home link works. About should take us to the about page. Good. Contact takes me to the contact page. Perfect. Resources doesn't take me anywhere unless I click that link, and that takes me out to Pinterest. Yeah, that's what I expected. And then blog takes me to the blog category. Reclaim ideas takes me to the reclaim ideas category. Daily tips to the daily tips category. And then let's make sure the search works. So if I type in breakdown, it should find that post where I said breakdown old palettes. Perfect. And then we have these links over here, of course, that we just want to make sure that they all work. Everything looks good. And then recent post, just gonna make sure that takes me to that recent post. Perfect. And so we're good. All our links are working within our site as logged in as an admin. So the next step we're gonna do is just go, before we log out, go through all our settings and make sure they're exactly the way we wanted them. So I make sure that this looks good. I didn't touch that. I have registration off. I don't want people registering. Time frame or time zone looks right. Date format's the way I want it. Day starts when I want it to. And then I just go through each one of these. Writing, okay, I've got blog as my default. For reading, I have a static page for it's the home page. And I do have search engines able to find me. Now let's talk about discussion really quick. If I have the blog ability, I might want to turn on registration for users eventually so that they can comment. But since I don't want them to comment right now and I don't want them registering, I'm going to put this checkbox right here. Users must be registered and logged in to comment. And then I have registration turned off so that comments are also effectively turned off. And I just scroll down and I save those changes. So that's one that I caught that I would not have caught, and comments would have been wide open for the world. So then I go down to media and I just check, settings, okay, that's fine, the way that those are set. Permalinks, I have it set to post name, perfect. And then my get response and my super cache, we've looked at those already. So I'm ready to go now, ready to log out. So I'm gonna close this window and I'm gonna go over to this one, hover over this tab where it says Howdy John W, and I'm gonna click log out. And it takes you to this nice little logout screen, and you just click down here where it says back to repurposed Chattanooga or whatever your site name is. And if I click that, it takes me right back to the home page. So here we are on the home page. Now you'll notice down here it does say leave a reply. You must be logged in to post comments. So all right, so I don't want that to happen. I don't want that showing up. So how do I turn off comments? How do I turn off that comments section? So what we're going to do really quick is we're going to look for a plugin that does it for us so that we don't have to do any coding. So I'm going to go out to the internet and type in WordPress plugin turn off all comments. Looks like people have actually searched for that before. And the first one that comes up looks good. It says disable comments. Let's try that one first. Okay, so it looks like it has a lot of people that liked it, and I'm going to go ahead and download that one. And while that's downloading, I'm going to log back into my site. So up here at the end of my domain name, I'm going to put /wp-admin and hit enter. And that takes me to the login screen. Put John W, put in my password. So now that I've logged in, I'm going to go ahead and go over to my plugin screen and click add new. We're going to upload a plugin. And then we're going to drag and drop this over the choose file and click install now. Okay, so now we're ready to activate. I'm going to go ahead and activate the plugin. It should give me some settings where I can tweak how that's going to be. So disable comments, there's my settings button. I click that, and now I can choose. Okay, So disable all content related controls and settings in WordPress. For now, that's what I want to do. So I'm going to turn them off everywhere. But you could say, I just want to turn them off for pages and for media. I want them off everywhere, so I'm going to turn them off everywhere. And then I'm going to say save changes. And then we're going to go out and test it out. So I'm going to click log out. Go back to my site and refresh. Okay, so it's still there. Okay, so I've logged back in because it was still there, and in looking at this, I noticed it says up here, I just breezed through it a little too quick. It seems that a caching performance plugin is active on the site. Please manually invalidate that plugin's cache after making changes, which makes sense. So our little caching guy that we installed earlier, or that we activated earlier, made it to where our cache, which is basically like a save, like a memory of the site, kept the comments section turned on for us, even though we disabled it. So I'm going to turn off cache, I'm going to update the settings, and then log out, and we're going to see if we can get those comments to disappear. And there we go. So now we're back at the website. Now comments are turned off. Everything looks good. So it's important to do this kind of testing, because you may assume that it's going to work. Like I could have assumed once I turned off comments, it's off and no big deal, go live. But obviously it didn't turn off because the caching was on. So there's certain plugins that don't play friendly together sometimes, and you have to kind of tweak those settings. And now that I have it working the way I want to, hopefully I can go back in and turn caching back on, because it will make my site move faster. But we learned something about that plugin, that caching plugin, and that is that when we make a change to something, a major change to something on the site, that change may not become visible to users unless we disable caching. So let's just see what happens with that, just so that we can learn from it. So I'm going to go back into the caching plugin, and I'm going to enable it again. Okay, so I've turned caching back on, and what I noticed in looking down here is there's a delete cached pages, because when I went back out here and refreshed, our little comments thing came back. So we need to delete and clear out that cache in order for that so we're going to say, okay, delete expired. We want to actually delete cache. We're just going to go ahead and delete cache. And then we're going to go out here and refresh and see, and let's log out to make sure. But let's see if it actually got rid of that cached version of the page, and it did. So now our caching is on. We've cleared it out though, so that we don't have any old stuff. So now we've learned something about that plugin. And that's the whole thing about WordPress, is plugins are not created necessarily by WordPress. Some are, but most aren't. And so you always have to test. If you have more than one plugin activated, you always want to test thoroughly to make sure everything works the way you expect it to. And when you run into a problem like that, where we saw the leave comments thing kept popping back, and then when I turned off cache and it went away, but when I re-enabled cache, it came back. All I had to do was read and be a little more careful in reading the instructions, and it basically said delete the cache. So I just deleted the cache and we were fine. So it's just a matter of understanding and really just kind of testing different things and understanding how plugins work together, but also reading the instructions, which I'm not always the best at, I'll admit. So okay, so that's it. Our website's ready to go live. We've tested everything. All our links are working. We've removed the comment section that we didn't want to have. We've got cache working again, so our site is going to be quick and at loading the second time a person visits. So everything looks great, and it's ready to go live at this point. So I hope this video course has helped you to gain a thorough understanding of WordPress, of setting up your hosting, setting up your domain, and really just overall setting up an entire website that you're going to be able to go public with, and by the end of this course, be able to have a complete, fully functional, extremely powerful website that you understand how to use and you're able to go in and manage and work and feel comfortable with. Thank you again for purchasing and being a part of this educational course. And I hope that you're able to quickly and easily get your website up fully functional, following the simple steps throughout this course. If this is your first time watching through the videos and you've done your overview, now would be a great time to jump back over to Module 1 and start going through hands-on, going out to the sites, taking the action, getting your website up and running. And I hope you're as excited as I am for you in getting things rolling and just having an easy and fun experience in the process.